Today I'm going shopping at Five Below. I'm gonna look for some things to test out and some things that are deals and does in the shelves. So let's go inside and get started. All right, here we go. This is the goods right here. So first of all, I'll go over everything I bought. Then I'll go over some things that I didn't buy, but I thought were worth mentioning. Pull these out of the bag here in no particular order. The first one in here is kind of a fun one. That's the Robo Alive Crawling Glowing Spider. We have a lot of black widows in our backyard sometimes, so kind of looks familiar, and I'll also have to see how Bailey reacts to that one. $5. Next up, this is also $5. I'm kind of surprised. This is the Hershey's chocolate drink maker. A very interesting, I like Hershey's, I like chocolate milk, so I think I'm gonna like this. For $5, it seems like kind of a good deal. Next up, the most expensive thing I bought here. They say it's an anti-gravity illusion humidifier. Now these were going around a couple years ago. Most of them were more expensive than this, 30 to 50 bucks. So if it can work at all for 15 bucks, it could be a good deal. All right, next up, this is one I've reviewed some similar items before. This is a Laya drawing board. This is also $5. Now I've done several of these, so I'll be curious how this measures up. This is also an interesting one. This is also $5. This is charging bracelet. I've never really seen anything like that before, so I'll be curious how that works. And finally, I can't forget Bailey. They got a pet section there, so I had to get this when I saw it. Well, she doesn't see it because she's around here somewhere. But I saw this, I thought of Bailey, and I figured I had to get it. So this was only $4. So in addition to the things that I did buy, which I'm gonna test out in a little bit here, there were some things I saw at the store I wanted to take note of that I didn't buy that I thought I would mention. First up is this $10 portable blender. Now I know a $10 blender is kind of tempting when the BlendJet 2 was 50 bucks. Now I didn't see the motor specs, but it looks like they have an 800 milliamp hour battery versus 4,000 for the BlendJet 2. I'm thinking this might be a good deal if you want to mix powders, but I'm not sure about that if you're gonna make full smoothies. Next up is a mini waffle maker for 15 bucks. That seems like a pretty good deal, although it's not the lowest price in town. I've seen similar models by Nostalgia and Elite Gourmet for 10 bucks on Amazon. The dash version that I have reviewed was about 13, so this is one that's not a bad price, but not the cheapest out there. Next up, I saw the $15 flexible glow tracks. That reminded me of the Magic Tracks I reviewed almost 7 years ago. And I would say that's a pretty good price for that. Most of the tracks I've seen along those lines are more expensive, unless you're cheap and patient and you want to get one from Temu. I've seen those for about 10 bucks there. But in stores, 15 bucks is hard to beat, although I would keep my expectations realistic when it comes to the glowing feature. Next up is a couple of fast food car gadgets. The French fry holder in Five Below is only $5. They typically run about 10, so that's a good deal. And the dip clips look a lot like the Saucemoto dip clips were on Shark Tank I reviewed a few years ago. The dip clips are usually about 9 bucks for a 2-pack on Amazon, so that also seems like a good deal for 5 bucks. Next up, we have a trio of lighted products, and all three of these reminded me of stuff I've reviewed in the past as well. First up were these lanterns for $5. That reminds me of the Atomic Beam lantern and the TAC lantern, and those don't even have a built-in fan like this one does. And $5 is about as cheap as you're gonna find these, so that's a pretty good deal on those. The solar light looks like the Everbright, which is one of the first products I ever reviewed. And even though it's a pretty common design, you see a lot of manufacturers out there making these, $5 is still pretty cheap for one of these. And finally, it's the LED light switch for $5.55. That reminds me of something I tested from Big Lots a couple years ago called the Lightsol. It's about $5 there. In fact, there's even a cheaper model at Harbor Freight for about $3. They even have a dimming version also for about $3. So it might pay to shop around if you want something like that. And of course, they have their candy aisle, which is always a good deal. But in that same aisle, I found a couple of these $1.50 candles that smell really good, and it was a pretty good price. All right, so that's the stuff I didn't buy. So I'm gonna read over the instructions for the things I did buy, and we'll start testing them out tomorrow. All right, so I've cleaned everything off, I've read all the instructions, I've unboxed them, and I'm ready to get started. Let's start with the most expensive of the bunch and the one that I'm kind of the most excited about, which is this anti-gravity humidifier. Now, all you're supposed to do with this one is just open it up the base, add between 8 and 16 ounces of water, and then you plug it into this USB port in the back here, and here is the power button. So let's fill it up first. I got about 12 ounces of water, kind of right in the middle of the range they suggest. Nothing more satisfying than placing electronics in water. All right, so let me plug in the USB in the back here. Here we go, we're plugged in, let's see what happens. First tap should just be a table lamp mode, which looks pretty nice. Nice, pleasant, warm light there, but that's not why we bought it. Tap 2 should be the magic, let's see. Oh, there we go. We've got humidifier here at the top, and we've got what should look like anti-gravity here, which kind of looks like it is. It kind of looks like the drops are going up, which is an optical illusion. Let me see. It smells like a humidifier. It's a pretty pleasant effect, I would say. It's not too loud. You really mainly hear the water rather than the motor itself, so I kind of like that. So how about another tap? This would be one more mode, which is, what do they call that? They call that water fountain mode with humidifier. All right, so this is, the light goes off, the optical illusion effect is gone, but you have the water and the humidifier itself. I definitely like the optical illusion with the humidifier the best. It is kind of oddly satisfying to look at that. The optical illusion effect is pretty interesting. You can, when you look at it up close, you can see that it's just a stream of water, but it does look like there's drops moving upward. Even if I put my finger in there, it still does it. I think everybody's gonna want to put their finger in there just to test it out. They're still moving upward through my finger. It looks like they're coming out of my finger. All right, so it's pretty simple, but it works pretty well. I'm pretty happy with this one. If you're looking for a cheap humidifier with a cool optical illusion effect, this could be a good choice. Next up, let's try this Hershey's chocolate drink maker. Now, it doesn't seem there's really a lot to this. All it really has is a handle. I had some batteries in the back here, and all you do is place your cup in here. It doesn't really hold a very big cup. It holds, that's why they give you these microscopic, look at the ones you usually use in the bathroom. These are very small cups, but all you do is you place your cup in there with your drink mix and some water, and then you push this down and it just mixes it. It's basically a fancy mixer. So I'm gonna try one of their cups, and I'm gonna try a slightly bigger cup so we can kind of see what's going on inside there, and if it even fits. Let's try that next. All right, I've got a really small, I mean, look how much water's in there. It's like, they say 3/4 of the way up. That's only a few ounces, it's not a lot of water. So according to the instructions, the next thing you're supposed to do is place the ingredients in your cup. We have some unstirred chocolate mix with hot water. That's where we're at now. So next up, we place the cup on the platform. Lower the arm into the cup, and it will automatically start when you get to a certain level. So let's see what happens here. And, oh, it's mixing. I don't know how long to hold this down for. They just say once it's been mixed thoroughly, however long that takes, then you're done. Have no idea if that was long enough or not. So lift the lever back up and out of position, and we have a nicely mixed, extremely small cup of hot cocoa. See how mixed this is. It's well mixed, so I give them credit for that. Now I've got a bigger cup here. I don't know if this is gonna fit. I don't know if that's enough or not. I really wasn't paying attention. Oh, I did it. All right, I did it. It's definitely not designed for cups this big. And this isn't exactly a very big cup anyways. But let's just get a bird's eye view of what we got going on here. Lower the lever. Is it working? Oh, it is. Oh, it is. It is mixing. We have mixing action going on. It doesn't seem like the strongest motor in the world, but it is mixing. All right, so let's see if we can get it out of here now. This is just wedged in there right now. Okay, there we go. It looks pretty well mixed. It tastes mixed too. It seems like it only works in really small cups, but it does work. All right, next up is one that I'm extremely excited about, and that is this crawling glow-in-the-dark spider. Now, it already comes pre-installed with a battery, but the battery replacement's pretty small, so it's one of those kind of obscure ones you have to figure out. So you might want to use this sparingly without having to find some weird battery shape. Let me just hit the button here and see what happens. Just slide this over. It just feels like it's vibrating. Is that going to actually move? That's weird. It's just vibrating. Let me put it on this white piece of paper here. Does it crawl? Oh, it's crawling. It's randomly crawling. That's kind of cool. I like that it doesn't go in just a straight line. It kind of goes around randomly. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to move over to the floor and try this out there. But before I do that, let me check out the glow in the dark feature and see how it actually glows. It looks like the kind of hourglass marking the outline glows briefly, but I'm gonna have to go to a darker room and double check that. All right, I'm gonna bathe this spider in UV light for a few seconds here and see what glows and what doesn't. And here we go. All right, so the hourglass glows and the 4 front legs glow, but the back legs don't. So there you go. It glows, kind of. The glowing feature, it's already fading. It's already fading, but I guess it does work. Look at it, look at it. Look at it go, there it goes. Whoa, it actually went around that chair. It kind of just hovers on the ground. Bailey actually is avoiding it. Usually she'd go after something like that, but she's actually running away from it. I don't think it'll go on the carpet. Nope, will not go on the carpet. And Bailey is curious, but not wanting anything to do with it. She might think it's a real bug. It's weird, it kind of like, you can actually spin it around. That's kind of cool. You can actually spin it around like that. And it's off. It's off and running, and Bailey wants nothing to do with it. It even kind of self-corrects itself when it bumps into something. It's going around this table. Oh, and it just made a U-turn. It just made a U-turn. All right, this next one seems kind of interesting. They refer to it as a charging bracelet, so I thought maybe it was like a charging bank. It's just a charging cable. So it doesn't actually have a battery in there where you can actually charge your devices. It's just a spare cable that you wear on your wrist. And it just goes like this. And I did it, there you go. Doesn't look too bad, I guess. What do you guys think? But I guess the idea of this one is you wear it as a bracelet, and then if you're out and about and you need a charging cable, you've got one on you. So let's see if it actually works charging a phone here. Now I have the iPhone version. They also have regular USB-C, I believe. So it just plugs into my phone. I'll plug the other end into a charging bank. Just like that. And do we have charging going on? The phone is charging, so the cable does work. It's only a few inches long, maybe 6 inches. It has this kind of braided design to it. Then when you're done, you just unplug it and then somewhat awkwardly put it back on your wrist. Smooth as silk, smooth as silk. Here we go. I have a tendency to pinch my wrist on this thing. My hand won't go through there, so I have to put it on that way. And there we go. Not bad. I almost pinched myself a couple times, but I did it. So, you know, it does work. It's not a charging bank, it's just a charging cable, but if you're one to always be misplacing your charging cables and you like to wear bracelets, this could be good for you. Next up, let's try this drawing pad. Now this looks very familiar. I've done the Lightboard Go, I've done the Magic Pad. This looks like it kind of goes right along with those. The one thing about this one, as you can see down here, there was this plastic film. I couldn't get it off on the edges. I worked on this for like 5 minutes. But I did install batteries. It takes 3 AAA batteries. There is an on-off button here. So you can turn that on. And then there's a button here to activate the lights. I'll turn the lights off here so we can get a better view. And as you can see, without even having used it, it already has markings all over it. But we can press this button to go through different lighting modes. This looks like it kind of just fades in and out. This one seems steady. This is a blinking one. And I think we're back to the square one again. All right, before we even get started, let's get rid of some of these marks here. It's like some are on this side and some are on the other side. Well, it's not great, but that's about as good as I'm gonna get. So let's try marking this thing up here. I have no background here. You can still see through it. So let's see what we got. Well, that looks pretty good. And the only other color, which is pink. Oh, that one looks, that's by far the best. I definitely like the pink better. Let's try the backgrounds and see how they look in there. They call us the holographic. Whoa, that's kind of cool looking. That is kind of, well, I kind of like that. Flip it over and do the black side now. I mean, that looks good, but the holographic side looks so good, it's kind of hard to compare. I definitely like that. Let's try wiping this off now. Well, that's not too bad. For some reason, the initial wiping off was more difficult than this. I also wish they had a few more colors, like red and yellow. I definitely like the holographic background. Let's try some of these other ones. I'm not sure I like the ones that kind of come and go like that. That doesn't really do much for me. I just kind of like the light static being on like that. So when I was a kid, I used to always do I would do the water line. That's a terrible water line, terrible. I don't have yellow for the sun, so I'll do a pink sun over here in the corner. And then I would draw some fish in the water. I would draw them like this. That's how I drew fish when I was a kid. And then I'd draw little bubbles. I think I was better at this when I was a kid than I am now. Oh, that's even worse. Terrible fish. It's funny how the pink fish has pink bubbles, the green fish has green bubbles. But anyways, it works. It does work. That's the most important thing. And I like the holographic background for sure. It seems like it cleans up better than some of the other ones I've used. Some of the other ones seem like they don't clean up very well. This one looks pretty good. I mean, it doesn't look good without the background, but it looks good with it. And finally, this one's gonna require me to go find Bailey. It is the minty fresh dog toy with squeaker. This is the exact kind of toy that Bailey loves. It squeaks, it has that crinkly sound to it. I don't want to do it yet until she's ready. But let's go find Bailey and see how she likes it. All right, Bailey is chomping at the bit for this. Oh, her ears went up. Ready? Get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. Get it. She's inspecting it. She's looking at it. Oh, she's playing with it. Oh, she likes it. Oh, we're gonna play tug of war. Oh yeah, good girl. Oh, you're a strong dog. Strong dog. Oh wow, Bailey, you really like this, don't you? Oh, she's strong. What are you trying to do? Oh, she won. Give me that toy. Give me it. Give me it. All right. Oh, she likes it. Good girl. Oh, she's gonna play with this for a while. I mean, for $4, even if it's only one day of entertainment, it's probably worth it. She might tear it up, but she does seem to like it so far. That's all that matters. So that's it. Let's quickly recap all 6 of these products. As far as the humidifier goes, this is my favorite of the bunch. I ran this for hours last night. It still had water in there. I love the optical illusion effect. It's kind of a cool conversation piece. This one I think is a winner. Now the Hershey's drink maker, it kind of makes small drinks. It doesn't do much, but what it does do, it does well. Now as far as the spider goes, I know it's just kind of a cheap toy, but if you're looking for a cheap toy gift, this might be something to consider. Now as far as the charging bracelet goes, I know it's just a wearable charging cable, but if you know someone is always losing theirs, this might be kind of a fun gift. This interesting drawing board, I wish I had more colors, but it's much better than the drawing board I got from Temu for about the same price. So it was actually a pretty good deal for this one. And finally, there was the dog toy. I don't have it here with me because Bailey was playing with it earlier. She's got a lot of toys. This one she likes just as much as those, and this one was the cheapest of the bunch. So I think that one is a pretty good deal as well. But that's all I've got. If you found some good deals at Five Below, tell me what you think in the comments below. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. Why would you want this? I don't understand.